This is how to easily panel a cake. So panel a cake as opposed to the all-in-one method. So this is in regards to covering your cake in fondant. So in the background there, I've got my fully ganached cake ready to go. This method works with buttercream as well. So I've just used some cooled boiled water and applied that to the top of the cake to make it nice and sticky. You can use water, piping gel, edible glue, Trex, whatever your preferred method is. So I'm going to roll out a piece that's big enough to cover the top with a slight overhang, as we are going to then flip the cake and trim that top bit so it creates the perfect top. So when you're rolling your top piece out, make sure it is bigger, and then get that nice and smooth, and then you're going to flip it. That's me just using a little acupuncture needle to pop any pesky air bubbles. A fine acupuncture needle is so tiny that the little pin pricks don't leave any marks at all. It's great. So once you've flipped it, get a super sharp craft knife and as close to the cake as possible, trim that bit off and then flip it again. Look at that top piece, beautiful. And then we're going to again get your water and make that top piece sticky so that when you attach your side bit, it's going to stick to that as well as the cake. So then cover the whole cake in water. Don't drown it, just make it nice and sticky. And then once you've done that, you're going to flip it again. So the reason I flipped it to make the top again, so to speak, is so that I can get to that top edge of the fondant to make it nice and sticky. So flip the cake again, and now what you're going to do is measure the height and the circumference of your cake, and you're going to roll this long piece of fondant out, and it's going to be slightly longer and taller than those measurements, but the overhang is so that you can cut a really nice straight edge, and the overlap from the length is so that you can cut through both pieces and make a nice seam. You'll see. So once you've rolled out and you've got the correct lengths, cut a nice straight edge at the bottom. That's me just double checking. It's always good to double check your measurements, because there's nothing worse when you come to wrap your fondant round and you realise it's not big enough. So now what we're going to do is we're going to roll that fondant back on itself around a rolling pin, but I'm just smoothing out that first edge so that once you roll it, you do start rolling it back on itself. It doesn't dig in and leave too many marks. And then pop your rolling pin up against your cake, making sure that it's meeting the board at the bottom, and then the overlap at the end you're going to cut through. So cut through both pieces using a ruler and a sharp knife, and then when you pull that back and pull the underneath piece away, those two joins should meet perfectly. Now you will get a seam, but if you spend a bit of time smoothing that out, it will become almost invisible. I use a piece of discarded fondant to smooth my cakes out, because I just find that is perfect, because it hugs the cake as you're sort of going round, and it really does work a treat. So as you can see, I've got that piece at the top now, so hold your knife parallel to the cake board, and that cuts a really sharp straight line, and then finally flip it again, and then I'll spend a bit of time smoothing any bits out. But look at that,